Hi, I'm Dr. Matt B, and these are your emotional minutes, and welcome back. And so I've actually been thinking a lot lately about ways that we can sort of boost our own mental health or our own well-being, because a lot of people have experienced a lot of difficulties. Right now when I'm filming this, it's actually 2 years into the COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of people are experiencing pandemic fatigue and decreased mood, anxiety, things like that. But these things can also be helpful to think about ways to boost mental health just in other times where we might experience difficult things in our lives or in society. And one of the things I realized is that positive emotions would actually be a really good topic to cover, because there are research-based ways to actually increase your positive emotions. So really what a lot of this looks at as well is not really about feeling happy necessarily, but experiencing sort of a whole range of positive emotions. So there could be joy, there could be appreciation or gratitude, hope, awe, which we've actually done an episode on, and I'll link to that, amusement, feeling inspired, feeling sort of a positive sense of pride. Some of the things that research has found when people experience a lot of positive emotions is one thing is what we call the undoing effect of negative emotions. So when people experience positive emotions, not only do they experience more positive emotions, but they actually tend to experience less of a lot of the things that go along with negative emotions. So say, you feel really tense or worked up, or your heart rate is really worked up if you're anxious, for example. Experiencing positive emotions has actually been shown to get your body back to a sense of calm or homeostasis, and getting your emotional state sort of back to a more neutral state. And then doing those positive emotion things can get your emotions even more positive. Another thing that they found is that in doing positive emotion activities, it really shifts our attentional focus, or it shifts what we're focusing on, where we actually might focus on more of the positive or beneficial aspects or the things we appreciate in our lives, as opposed to focusing our attention on more negative things that can happen. There's a ton of research that's found when our attention is really focused on the negative, that can really contribute to things like depressive symptoms, or decreased enjoyable activities or anxiety, things like that. It'll also really do what they call the broaden and build hypothesis, which is it sort of opens up our attentional sphere and actually promotes creativity. It keeps our brain open to many more possibilities of things through our day-to-day life and how we might respond to those things. So there really can be times where we might be in a state of real sort of negative emotion, and our attention is really focused on the negative. And what can happen in those times is that effect of negativity can actually sometimes spiral downward, or you might think of it as a snowball effect as well. The more and more you're sort of engaged in the negative and thinking about negative aspects of life, or bad things that happened, or things that were difficult for you, we as humans can just naturally kind of continue to think more and more about those things. And that can snowball or spiral downward in sort of a negative spiral. And then we just get engulfed more and more by negative. But what a lot of these strategies that we'll go over have been shown to do is actually to help people get back into a positive spiral, or even build a positive snowball effect, where you start to intentionally do a lot of these enjoyable, meaningful, gratitude enhancing activities, for example. And people actually really start to experience a sense of a lot more of those positive emotions. But then, like I mentioned before, it opens up our attention. It keeps our attention focused on things we appreciate, things that are positive. And then we actually sort of start to snowball in the positive direction, where it just builds more and more and more positivity, both in our feelings and emotions and in our thoughts as well. And there's actually some evidence emerging that these sorts of things, being in that more positive state, and life isn't always positive, but sort of trying the best you can to sort of go out and get those positive things, actually may have physical health benefits as well. So again, I'm Dr. Matt B, and these are your emotional minutes. And hopefully that was helpful today in sort of explaining kind of a lot of the things behind positive emotions and positive emotions research. And again, these are your emotional minutes, and we'll see you next time.